Hey everyone, it's Final Round and my name is Jordan. This video will be for Thursday night football for week 4. We had a pretty good week 1 and 2, but not so great for week 3. But it's a brand new week. I have a couple of plays for you for this Thursday night football game, and let's jump right into it. You'll see images that come up on the screen about right here. That is from a data app called Outlier. There's a link in the description that'll give you a 7-day free trial for Outlier. I always have people ask me, what is that? You're using even after I say that. But we have the Cowboys at the Giants. The Cowboys haven't looked so great this year. They've mainly been struggling to stop the run. Teams haven't had to throw the ball that much against them with their on paper really good defense. And then we have the Giants, who came out. They didn't look so great to start off the year. Then they played against my Cleveland Browns, and I know the Browns haven't been great for most of the year, and the Giants actually looked pretty good against a Cleveland Browns defense that on paper is pretty good. So as we've seen for the past few weeks, the underdogs are very much live. So it's hard to guess the game script, like who's going to be up near the end and running the ball, trying to get the clock to run down, and who's going to be down and trying to throw the ball a lot. It's been just really difficult to guess which teams are going to win. So I'm not going to try to project the game script based off of the spread, which is just -6 in favor of the Cowboys. So my first pick is going to be Daniel Jones, aka Danny Dimes, over 0.5 interceptions at -114. He's going to throw a dime right to the Cowboys defense. He started off the year 2 interceptions against the Vikings defense, which is turning out to be one of the best defenses in the NFL so far. He did play Washington secondary in week 2. Their secondary is not that great. He did not throw an interception. And then he played Cleveland last week. Trust me, he was throwing some passes right to the Cleveland defenders, and they were literally knocking each other over to try to get the interception. So he very much could have easily had 1 or 2 interceptions thrown in that game. He wasn't perfect. So now he's going up against a defense that knows him very well, a division rival in the Dallas Cowboys, who the last time he played them last year threw 2 interceptions against. So Dallas's defense, they picked off Deshaun Watson twice. I guess that's not very impressive anymore these days. They were able to get a lot of pressure on Deshaun Watson, which the Giants were able to do that too. Daniel Jones had the same pressure in week 1 from the Vikings. He got sacked 5 times. That's when he threw 2 interceptions. So the Cowboys really just need to bring that same pressure, and he's gonna make some bad decisions. The Cowboys also picked off Derek Carr 1 time, and that was just with 16 pass attempts. So like I said, the past 2 weeks, the Cowboys have just got ran all over by Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry. I can't see Devin Singletary getting 25 plus carries and running for 125 plus yards on the Cowboys. So I have a feeling Daniel Jones is going to need to throw the ball a little bit more than 20 times, where we had Derek Carr and Lamar Jackson just not throw the ball that much, and they literally just ran all over the Cowboys. But I have a feeling the Cowboys are going to be able to stop Devin Singletary a little bit better than Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara. And Daniel Jones, the more he throws it, he's not that great of a quarterback. He's definitely going to end up throwing a pick at some point. So Daniel Jones over 0.5 interceptions, -114. If you guys could, please like the video, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a little bit of extra time, could you leave a comment for the algorithm? You can put any number. You can just put number 7, and that'll help with the algorithm. And also, if you want to get away from Prizepicks and try out a different prop app, try Underdog Fantasy, Sleeper, ParlayPlay, and ChalkBoard. Promo code FINALROUND11 gets you a deposit match up to $100 and Underdog up to $1,000. There's links in the description that'll take you there with the promo code. And thank you to anyone who uses those. So this next player, if you haven't been paying attention too much to the NFL, you might not even recognize his name. But I'm going to take a Cowboy. His name is Jalen Tolbert of the Cowboys, wide receiver, over 27.5 reception yards at -113. Tolbert is actually pretty talented. He's quietly, or maybe not so quietly, starting to take over the wide receiver 2 role there in Dallas. Brandon Cooks just doesn't quite have that step that he used to. And just check out this clip of Jalen Tolbert. This catch is just amazing.
Prescott loading up, going deep, has a man, is caught! Jalen Tolbert!
Matthew, it leaves nobody in the deep part of the field, and Tolbert with an A catch. Not Dak's best throw.
So he's gone over in receiving yards in the past 2 games. And in week 2, he actually led in targets. He had 9 targets for the team. That was a game against the Saints where they were being blown out. So I checked the first half to see, how he was doing, just to make sure he wasn't getting a bunch of targets in like garbage time. And he ended up with 5 targets and 26 receiving yards in that first half. Up against the Saints, so not too bad. So he's definitely part of the offense and not just some garbage time type stuff. So far this season, Cowboys are throwing around 70% of the time, and they have been down the past 2 weeks, trying to catch up. So a lot of throwing has been done. So you could expect them to run the ball a little bit more. I know Rico Dowdle's going to be a popular pick for some people, which isn't a bad thought. It's just if the Giants do somehow get off to a lead again, like they did against Cleveland, then the game script's just going to be different. So like I said, I'm not going to try to guess that. I'm just going to go with props that I see that I think have good value. So Jalen Tolbert is averaging 13.5 yards per reception. And with him getting a decent amount of targets a game, all he needs is about 2 catches to get to this line. So I do like him to go over in this game, and eventually he will officially take that number 2 wide receiver slot from Brandon Cooks and be that number 2 option whenever Dak Prescott's looking through coverage and everything like that. So I do like him over 27.5 receiving yards. Nothing too crazy, just 2 picks for 1 game. And as far as like the rankings go with teams that give up receiving yards and rushing yards and stuff like that, we're so early in the year that the Giants they're in the middle of the pack when it comes to giving up receiving yards. And it's just the teams that you play against. With the game script for those games, they've only played 3 games. If a team has been down a lot, of course they're going to throw the ball more and run the ball less. It's not going to show, if they're like really good against that, except for like earlier on in the games and those stats there. But once you get to the end of the 3rd and the 4th quarter, that's where these defensive stats can get skewed just a little bit. So I'm staying away from that for right now and just going with what I like. If you haven't and you want to try out a new sportsbook, check out Bet365. There's a link in the description that'll take you to Bet365. You just play $5 and they'll give you $200 back in bonus bets. So yeah, link in the description for that. Thank you if you use that. If you'd like to discuss lines further, I have a Discord link is in the description. Conversations going on in there about all sports, and that is completely free, and it always will be free. Just community bringing their own research. So love to see you in there. And then as far as the recap goes, I had picked some players with some really good matchups, and looking back on it and how the data went or how the stats went, the box score, I can see where these plays miss. So Rashid Shaheed over 49.5 receiving yards. Great matchup against the pass. So when you have the great matchup against the pass, the number 1 option is going to be open. So even though he had gone off the first 2 weeks, Chris Olave had a really great game. And the same thing happened with Jameson Williams. He ended up not having that many receptions, and Amon-Ra St. Brown had a pretty good game against a very good matchup. And then Jordan Mason, he just didn't get enough carries to get over 90 yards. So with that really good matchup, this line just got boosted up so high, and he had been playing so well. So first time going under 100 yards. The 49ers kind of got away from the running game there a little bit. He wasn't getting the 24 carries that he was getting previously, and he went under the 90 yards mark. So I'm going to be looking for more plays in week 4 that maybe the matchup is decent. but the lines are better. So we don't want juiced lines because of the matchup, and we also don't want secondary receivers against a really good matchup. If it's a really good matchup, we want the number one option who's going to be shredding them and tearing them apart. And then in my pinned comment, I had put Brock Bowers for receiving. He came up a little bit short, and then I had Kyler Murray for over rushing yards. He did hit that. He went over that pretty easily. And then I had Browns, Jerome Ford over yards. And I thought the Browns would run the ball more. They need to run the ball more whenever they get away from it, and they want Deshaun Watson to be the guy that throws 5-yard passes and sails it over their head by 5 yards. They're not going to win games, and I thought they'd be smarter, and they weren't. And they only ran the ball 10 times with Jerome Ford, and they were doing it out of the shotgun, and it was awful. And I have my own complaints about that and the Browns offense. So I will not be taking another Browns player unless I see changes in the offense. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So it wasn't a good week for player props there, but I'm going to make some adjustments with what I saw and try to come back with some better props for week 4. I'm going to get this edited and get it out to you. God bless you all. It's final round. My name is Jordan. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.